Hi, gang, it's Adam.
And Patrick.
Coming up on today's episode, we're joined by our friends Amanda and Ben for the entire episode. We cover the latest Disney news and share our report from our recent trip to Walt Disney World for GayDayS. As always, we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Patrick Humpty Hump Kazuki.
Oh, it's so gangsta. I like it. What's up, Adam Pumpkin Blossom Hummel?
Pumpkin Blossom?
I feel like fall is happening now.
It is here.
I'm willing it to happen.
Starbucks has their PSLs out, ready for sale now.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Pumpkin spice lattes.
You know what's awkward right now is that we're talking to each other as though no one else is in the room.
I like it.
Let's keep doing it.
No, we have to introduce our guests.
All right, let me turn my neck. Hi, Ben and Amanda.
Hi, gents.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you guys for coming back.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thanks.
And the reason you're here is because we were all on vacation together last week. In fact, 1 week ago, as of this recording, we were in the Magic Kingdom.
We were, remember?
We were having breakfast with Pooh. Wait, that doesn't...
A poofist.
And a poofist with Tigger and Piglet and Eeyore.
That's right.
That was adorable.
At the Crystal Palace.
One of my favorite moments of the trip.
Well, again, thank you for joining us for this episode, because we have a ton to talk about later on, about our trip and about the firsts we experienced on this trip, and one really big last that I am sad to see go, but we'll talk about all of that stuff later.
Aw.
Yeah. But first, Patrick,
Yes?
we need to talk about all of the friends and listeners who we met in the parks during our trip.
Many friends and listeners.
All of those people who said hello to us.
Turns out we have more than 3.
We have more than 3 listeners.
Shocking.
Not one Oprah came up to us, though.
That was rude.
She didn't show up.
Yeah, she turned right away from us.
But who did show up was Tony, our friend Tony, who you can find on Instagram at Anthony of Agrabah.
He's so great.
He's so fantastic. He's been with us since the very beginning, Ben and Amanda.
Yes.
Seriously, like after episode 1, he was the very first person to post about us on social media.
Aww.
So, yeah, we owe a lot to Tony.
Such a sweet guy. Nice to meet you, Tony.
Yes, and he gave us Magic Kingdom Sorcerers cards, Patrick.
Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, to be specific.
He gave us Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom cards, Patrick.
They're so beautiful. I love those cards.
They are. Thank you so much, Tony. It was great to meet you. We also met Zach on one of the buses, and Zach is the host of his own podcast called Bored to Death Podcast, and he reviews board games.
That sounds fun. I would
Yeah.
definitely check that out.
I love that title.
I love a punny title. That's a good one.
Unlike ours.
We also met Bart, Katie, and David,
They were so wonderful.
and we didn't get to meet David's fiance, who was standing in line for a margarita.
I mean,
Who can blame him?
Yeah.
Right.
Who would leave a margarita line just to meet us?
I hope you got the Winnie the Pooh margarita.
That's right.
Happy birthday, David.
David was turning 21 in Epcot. Is there a better place to turn 21?
there's no better place.
It's better than where I turned 21 at a Perkins in Kirksville, Missouri.
Fun fact, though, they do serve booze at Perkins in Missouri, don't they? Isn't that what? No?
And the
No.
Winnie the Pooh margarita, too,
Yeah.
oddly enough.
I turned 21 at a Chevy's
Oh.
in downtown Minneapolis.
That's better.
Classy.
So it was great to meet you, Bart and Katie and David. And sorry, David's fiance. We'll meet you next time, we promise. We also got to meet Roger, Mark, and Kale. Patrick, you already met Mark and Kale, but you finally got to meet Roger.
Yes.
And the rest of us got to meet all 3 of those lovely lads.
I was so excited to finally meet the boys from Atlanta.
I
Aren't they
know.
a treasure?
They're
Yes, they
great,
are a
great
treasure.
guys.
Our Atlanta D's.
We got to see our friend Robbie, who we met, Patrick, on our trip in January.
Robbie. Hi, Robbie.
Hi, Robbie. It was great to see you again. We got to grab a drink with Robbie at Abracadabar.
Our favorite bar.
That's right.
That's right.
And last but not least, Devin. Oh, Devin. Devin, I don't know what happened, but we were supposed to meet you, and I kept just completely blanking. I don't know what was going on. He was there to meet us in Epcot. He was DMing us like, I'm here now. And I was completely inept at scheduling something to meet Devin.
Devin, here's the tea. Adam was avoiding you at all costs.
That's not true. That's not true. Here's what I think happened. We had dinner at Restaurant Marrakesh. I think I was digesting and my brain went to digestion.
Oh my.
And then we went to France to get ice cream. And so then I was focused on ice cream. The problem really was the food. I should never be focused on food when I'm trying to meet someone. That was the issue.
But also, I do have to say, Devin, he felt really bad about it. He really did.
There's no excuse. And Devin, I will make this up to you. I will meet you, and Patrick will meet you the next time we are in the parks.
Sure, why not?
Unless there's food involved. And then
there we go.
All bets are off.
Just kidding. Can't wait to meet you, Devin.
So thank you, everybody. It was really a treat to meet all of you, and we can't wait to see you again very soon.
Yes.
We also have some shout-outs we need to make this week, Patrick.
Shout them out, Adam.
We have to give a shout-out to listener Camila, who sent us the sweetest email, Patrick.
It was really lovely.
She was going through a bit of a rough patch and was listening to our episodes, and we were able to brighten her day a bit. And Camila is considering starting a podcast.
Do it.
She absolutely should. Yeah, so she was asking for some recommendations on equipment. And we have a new listener named Jason, who you can find on Instagram at Tiki Tardis, who's a fellow Minnesotan who discovered us while he was at GayDayS.
What?
Yes, I don't think he saw us, but he found our podcast while he was at GayDayS. Kismet.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. How does that happen? So, Camila, thank you so much for your email. And Jason, welcome to the pod.
Welcome. Remember the old welcome show?
Welcome.
We also, Adam, have a new Patreon patron.
We do.
Derek joined just before we left for our trip. So
Derek.
Thank you, Derek.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, we do have a Patreon page where you can, for as little as $1 a month, donate to Gays Do the D, and all of the proceeds go directly into our recording.
That's right. Our equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And things like our website.
That's right. Cotton candy.
All the cotton candy we can eat while we're recording.
Fudge.
Keeps the energy up.
I buy coffee for Ben and Amanda.
So nice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Soap.
I
mean, all the things that we need to record this podcast.
Uh-huh.
So you can find our Patreon page by going to gaysdothed.com and clicking on that donate button.
Thank you so much, Derek. We really appreciate your support, and thanks to all the patrons out there. In fact, Patrick,
yes?
Immediately after this episode, we are going to be recording a special Patreon-only episode.
We are.
Called Gays Do the D, Raw and Uncut.
This is brand new information.
That's right. And did you know?
Nope. Oh. I don't read notes, Adam.
Let me just say, if you have time, immediately after this recording,
we'll see.
We're going to be recording a Gays Do the D Raw and Uncut for our patrons, and only they have access to those very short episodes.
So exclusive.
You know what we're going to be talking about, Patrick?
Cher.
No. Good guess, though.
Madonna.
Yep.
Oh.
That's it. Madonna.
Wonderful.
No.
Oh.
Madonna's also not.
Oh, tell me.
Not what we're talking about. We're talking about the resorts, because there's some wacky things going on at the resorts right now. In particular, the Contemporary Resort recently had some suspicious activity inside of it involving the Incredibles.
Interesting.
Yeah. What is that all about?
We're going to find out.
The patrons are.
Mm-hmm. Ben and Amanda, you're going to have to leave because you're not
That's right.
Patreon patrons.
So rude.
We're
Plebes.
Before we get to that, though, Patrick, we do have to go back all the way back to episode 48. Do you remember episode 48?
I don't remember this morning,
Adam. 2 episodes ago, when we covered our Fab 5 cents in Walt Disney World.
Ah, yes.
We had several listeners reach out to us with their thoughts on our Fab 5 cents and their additions to that list.
True story.
Diamond in the Rough Clothing Co. on Instagram said, the beignets at French Quarter. Ben and Amanda, have you had the beignets at French Quarter?
I have not.
Okay.
I haven't, but I will tell you, I will be there over the holidays, and I am staying at French Quarter and running the beignet run.
What? Mm-hmm. I want to slap you right now. I'm so jealous.
Come run it with me.
Okay.
It's a 1K or something, or a 1 mile.
I can do that.
So you barely work off the beignet. That is what I'm hearing. Okay, great.
Can we eat and run at the same time?
Well, here's hoping. Or not doing it.
Just a powdery sugared mess at the end of it.
Diamond in the Rough Clothing Co. also said the Yacht Club lobby scent, yes. The bread pudding at the Poly.
Yas.
The Morocco Pavilion's cherry wood, which I didn't recognize. I don't know if I've ever smelled that before.
I think it's just the scent that's fully pumped into that whole pavilion.
Sure, amazing. And the smell of the male dancers post-show at the Festival of the Lion King in the Animal Kingdom.
Oh dear.
Yikes.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. It's a fetish.
Those tumble monkeys, though.
Those tumble monkeys, though.
Moving on, we have Ryan, who is Ryan Gold 85 on Instagram. He writes and says, there is a scent that when I smell it, it transports me to 5-year-old Ryan's time at Disneyland 1990. That smell is cigarettes. I'm not a smoker. Never been a fan of smoking, but there are times when I'm driving and I get a whiff and I think about Disneyland.
You know what?
Wow.
No, I get it.
Wow, Ryan.
I get it.
Yeah.
I associate pipe smoke in particular with holidays. As my uncle used to smoke a pipe, and so that's very... But I mean, pipe smoke smells better than cigarette smoke. But I get that kind of association.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when restaurants used to have smoking
man,
sections.
remember?
Remember that?
Airplanes,
Oh, my goodness.
too.
Yeah. Remember the little tin ashtrays at McDonald's that were on the tables?
Absolutely.
Gross.
Yep.
What the heck?
Even in your car, they don't
those
exist
little-
in your
yeah,
car
Those little
anymore.
tin
Yeah.
in the arm. There was like that little flip-up tin.
Yeah.
And the cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
We've come afar.
Times
far
have
away.
changed.
Yep.
Dana, who you can find on Instagram at Dana Marie G, said one of my favorite scents is the basement loading area for Tower of Terror.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
That, I agree with that one.
Now, Ben,
Scares the hell out of me.
Terrifying. That ride is terrifying.
why would that scare you, Ben?
Oh,
why?
God. That ride kills me every time.
Oh, we're
But I
gonna
love
talk.
it.
We're gonna talk about it in depth later because I was sitting right next to you on that ride, and it was an enjoyable experience. I will never forget that.
I'm going to get a candle that smells like that and burn it in front of Ben and he'll just start screaming.
Fetal position nonstop.
So Fifi Dubois on Instagram as Fifi Dubois DQ. I'm sure I'm the 50th person to message you about this, but the Disney water smell is because they treat it with bromine instead of chlorine.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah, because we were both talking about how it's, in particular, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Is such a pungent, kind of wonderful smell when you
It is.
splash down into that water. Yeah.
Well, and Splash Mountain as well.
And Splash Mountain, yeah.
Yeah, you can't go on those rides without smelling that bromine, apparently.
It's bromine, not chlorine.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
love what Fifi Dubois says.
Yeah.
I love that smell. I mean, I know that's what 1,000 people say, but man, it's good.
I'm going to go on those rides from now on and go, what's up, bromine? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should
Yeah,
do
you-
that.
you- should.
I disagree. I don't think you should do that.
Okay.
Hey, brah. Hey, bromine.
Oh,
Yep. See, I'm right.
It works.
I feel like that's a T-shirt for you, Patrick.
I think you're right.
Sup, brah, mean. Mm-hmm.
Is
Okay.
this a bad time to bring up a smell that we didn't necessarily like at
What's
Disney
that?
World last time we were there?
What's that?
I mean, I think it was supposed to be a smell that we liked, but the smell of the lobby, we stayed at All-Star Movies.
Oh.
And the lobby has this kind of like middle school cologne thing going on.
Yeah,
Like
you're right.
Dracar Noir or Cool Water?
It wasn't a bad smell.
No.
It was just too strong.
Oh, okay.
I
So-
think it's a cleaner they use on the floor that has sort of a perfume in it.
Oh.
Ben is shaking his head as though he's about to throw up.
It was rough.
Is this a bad time to bring up a bad smell that's about to happen in this
Wow.
room?
It is a bad time to both bring it up and make it happen.
Okay,
Like,
well, let's move on then.
we got to record fast.
You'll have a surprise.
Last but not least, Lucian, who you can find on Instagram at Lucky Lemansky, said, the scents in the confectionery are, in fact, pumped in. Patrick, we had questioned whether or not all of those delicious baked good scents were authentic or whether they were pumping them into the store.
Yeah.
And he also says the smell on Main Street is vanilla to make you buy more.
Oh, interesting.
I'm shocked that Disney would want you to buy things.
I also read something not too long ago that said that men, for whatever reason, are most drawn to the scent of vanilla.
Oh, I think I know why.
Why?
Just baking, right? Like when their mom would bake them something.
I think that was what the article
It's a
asserted,
mommy
that
issue thing.
It's like comforting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
When I was younger, I would put actual vanilla on my wrists and use it as cologne.
Well, it's lovely. It's warm.
Yeah,
It's rich. It's got a little spice to it. I support that.
I wish you'd still do it, Patrick.
You might need it in a couple seconds.
Okay. Come on, mean.
What?
Well, thank you, everybody who wrote in. We really appreciate your thoughts on scents in Walt Disney World.
Thanksies.
And Patrick, we have some anniversaries to cover.
We sure do. We have some fun ones to talk about today. Are you ready for these anniversaries, guys?
I'm ready.
Let's start with the youngest one, which is turning 55 years old. That gives you a little glimpse into these anniversaries.
Wow.
Mary Poppins on August 29th, 1964.
Mary Poppins.
Aww.
That's lovely.
That's a big anniversary, 55 years.
That is a big one.
Almost diamond.
What do you think Julie Andrews is going to do on that day? How is she going to celebrate 55 years of Mary Poppins?
She'll probably have some tea and then take a nap. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Do you think they're going to do a huge Mary Poppins explosion for the 60th?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they're going to do. I mean, they'll release some kind of like diamond anniversary edition on DVD or something.
I feel like they'll do like a concert or something.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think they should.
Sure.
So a concert is not an explosion, though.
Oh, yeah. Good point, Ben.
Someone might explode. You don't know.
That's a great idea, though. Hey, I'm revealing my Disney ignorance right now, but has there been talk about another Mary Poppins movie?
There is. Rob Marshall, who directed the first movie, said he's got another story he would like to do. And oddly enough, I don't know if this is just a rumor or not, but he wants to tie it to gay rights in the 60s.
Huh.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, I'm on board as a gay.
Right.
But
How? Yeah, I don't see how the tie-in happens.
I mean, anything you want to tie to gay rights in the 60s, sure. Let's
it could just
give
be
a go. But
yeah, it could be a crazy rumor, but that's what I had read.
okay.
Yeah.
Is it like a sequel? Or do we know anything about it?
It would be a sequel.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would be like, I guess, Mary Poppins flying in on her umbrella and assisting some gays. Like, is Stonewall going to be a part of it? I don't know.
Oh, man. Maybe she came up with the rainbow.
Maybe that's it.
She flies in on a rainbow.
Perfect.
And the gays are like, yas, Poppins.
Perfect. Trademark Patrick Kazuki.
Thank you. Moving on, Bambi is turning 77 years old, or I should say turned, because we are an episode behind, so we had to catch up a little bit.
Okay.
On August 21st, 1942.
Wow. Another thing I've read is that is going to be turned into a live-action film.
Don't need it to happen.
I know.
No.
I know.
You guys, that was the first movie I saw in the cinema.
Oh, wow.
Were you in France at the time?
1942?
Yeah, I was going to say the cinema.
Isn't that interesting? I'm not
Fancy.
sure how that worked, but I definitely went to the cinema with my mom and saw that film.
Was a re-release, definitely then.
Why do you keep calling it a cinema?
I know, I like it.
Because I work in a theater.
Oh, well, okay.
You just got told off.
You got
Dang.
served.
For those of you who might remember, Bambi was also our very first Take Two episode,
That's right.
which was episode 3, if you want to listen back.
Oh my gosh, was it really?
I can't recommend listening back. It was a rough Take Two.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Oh.
I really liked that episode, and I had not realized, I guess I haven't seen it in my adult life, I hadn't realized really how dark that film is. I mean, you know it as a child, but it has some things to say, and you reminded me of that.
Aww.
What you're saying is we pulled you down into a dark, dark place, which is ultimately our goal with this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 2019. I was already in that place.
Oh boy.
But isn't that why we do take twos? Because when you're a kid, you view it from one perspective, right? And then you come back as an adult all these years later and you see it and you're like, wow, there's all these layers that I was not aware of. And my life has really taken a turn that I wasn't expecting it to. And what am I even doing with my life?
Oh, man.
Why did I start a podcast? And just kind of swirls from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you need a scone?
I'm okay.
We have some lemon scones here if you want one. Last but not least, we have more of a birthday than an anniversary. Pluto is turning 89 years old. So Pluto first appeared in September 1930 as an unnamed dog in The Chain Gang. There is no recorded release date of that, so they just say September is kind of his birth month. And then in October 1930, he appeared as Minnie's dog in The Picnic, but they called him Rover. And then in 1931, Pluto finally got his forever name in the animated short The Moose Hunt, as Mickey's dog.
Wait, he's a dog?
Okay.
We're not
Don't
going down
start
that road again.
Don't. Pluto was actually one of my Fab Five sidekicks in
It's
a previous
true.
episode. What a great sidekick, too. He's so sweet.
He's great. He's one of the best characters to meet in the park, in my opinion.
Why?
He's just so fun. You always have a fun interaction with
Gotcha.
Pluto, and he's allowed to do more than I think the other characters are because he doesn't have like a specific reserved personality or you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
He's a lot of fun. So happy 89th birthday, Pluto.
Good boy. Good boy, Pluto.
Wow.
Just briefly, Patrick, I want to talk about next week's episode. So this weekend, while we're recording, at this very moment, there's a ton of action happening in Anaheim because it is the D23 Expo.
So exciting.
Yes, and for those of you that don't know, D23 Expo is the ultimate fan event for Disney fans. It happens at the Anaheim Convention Center right by the parks. And it's a huge event where they make a ton of announcements about Disney's upcoming events and projects and movies and releases. So it's really a huge event.
It's true. Our friends JT and Melanie from the Disney Buzz are there right now. He's been texting me all weekend, and I want to just fly out there and slap him.
Oh.
And fly back because
Worth it.
Very
Yeah,
jealous.
that'll be worth it. So we want to let everybody know out there that next week's episode, we're going to be doing a complete recap of all of the big announcements that they're making this weekend at the D23 Expo. And just kind of as a teaser to next week's episode, I just want to list some of these things that we've already learned about.
You're such a tease.
I know. Hey, guess what, Patrick?
Yes?
A Moana attraction is coming to Epcot.
Oh, I'm so excited about that.
Yes. Ben's into it. Ben's
I'm
feeling
into it.
it.
I'm into it.
Yes.
Where are they putting it, did they say?
I don't know yet.
In your butt.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. It's going right in your butt, Patrick.
Did you check your butt?
Ben, that was a solid contribution you just made to the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. If there's one thing this podcast needs, and really the world, it's more of a straight, white, male, middle-aged voice brought to things. And Ben, that's why you're here. Thank you so much. We're also going to be talking about the Avengers Campus. That's what it's going to be named in Disney California Adventure. We're going to be talking about the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Resort coming to Walt Disney World.
Amazing.
The Tron Light Cycle Run coming to the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World.
So excited about that.
And we're going to be talking about a lot of the shows and the movies coming to Disney Plus, launching in November, like Lady and the Tramp and The Mandalorian. And there's going to be a new Lizzie McGuire series coming.
Perfect.
I knew you'd be into that, Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next week's episode is going to be jam-packed, full of all of that information, so please tune in next week.
So following next week's episode, Adam, Ben, and Amanda, which is also our 1-year anniversary episode.
It is. Can you believe it? I can't believe it.
1 year old.
Yeah.
We sound like we just started, though. What have we done with our year?
We'll eventually get around to focusing on quality.
I'm going to get around to focusing at all. So after our 1-year anniversary episode, we're going to do a full-on questions and Peter Pantsers episode. So please send us your questions. You can always email them to info@gaysdothed.com.
Or you can reach out to us on social media at GDTD Podcast.
Work.
And last but not least, man, we've been through a lot already, and it's just the banter portion of this show.
I'm emotionally drained already.
Are you done with the episode?
I'm tired.
Just a reminder to all our listeners, we currently have a survey available at gaysdothed.com/survey. And what we're doing is we're collecting information from you, our listeners, to know how we can make the podcast better. So, for instance, if you have ideas for segments, or if you want to see a segment gone from the podcast,
Or a host.
for
Gone.
instance, here is your chance to have a say in how we make this thing happen.
Any suggestions, Ben and Amanda?
Yeah, you're here. Fix it.
I love you guys. And I will say, over the year, it's been fascinating to me, and Ben can confirm that I was telling him this the other day. It has been fascinating to watch your journey.
Oh.
You get better and better and better. I love it. I'm serious. It's like such a compelling, fun show.
Aw.
We will pay you immediately.
I appreciate
following
that.
this recording. Ben, any ideas from you?
If I could make one suggestion, it would be maybe Gas X for Patrick.
Wow.
Wow. Well, yeah.
Wow.
This is a small room,
Yeah.
and it's not pleasant.
Well, this is a small thong that I'm wearing as well. So everyone
It
loses.
just looks small on you.
Thank you. I feel like
Size
that
up.
was actually a really good.
Patrick, there's your tip. Size up.
When you got it, you got it.
Oh, we have fun. We have fun. Anyway, listeners, please visit gaysdothed.com/survey. Fill out that survey. It's completely anonymous, and it will help us immeasurably as we go forward into year 2 of Gays Do the D.
Year 2, season 2, maybe. Just year 2.
I'm not going to do seasons.
Okay.
Although it would be fun to have a cliffhanger next week's episode.
Find out next season on Gays Do the D.
That's right. It would just be like next week. All right. What do you say, Ben, Amanda, Patrick?
Yeah.
Let's take a dive into some news.
Well, it's going to be a cliffhanger because we don't know if we're going to go to the news or not.
Are we?
Find out in 5 seconds. We're going to do it.
Okay. Okay.
Spoiler. This November 4th, fans of Broadway and Disney are in for a treat. Get your tickets now for celebrating 25 magical years of Disney on Broadway. This one-night-only concert will benefit one of my favorite charities, Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS is one of the nation's leading industry-based nonprofit AIDS fundraising and grant-making organizations. Since its founding in 1998, Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS has raised over $300 million for essential services for people with HIV/AIDS and other critical illnesses across the United States. Amazing. To date, Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS has raised more than $18 million through Disney theatrical productions.
That's incredible.
Incredible.
Yep. Hats off. That is magnificent.
Ben disagrees. He's silent. He's not a fan.
Did Disney Broadway start with The Lion King?
Beauty and the
Beauty and the
Beast.
Beast.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, back in 1993, was that when Beauty and the Beast launched?
That sounds correct.
1993.
Yeah.
Or 1994, one of those 2 years, yeah.
93, I think.
Wow.
The evening will feature music from Disney's 25-year run on Broadway with songs from Ben, Disney's first Broadway production, Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, you should have just continued listening, Ben.
Yep,
Why do
yep.
you always interrupt?
My bad. My bad.
Just like a straight man.
Yeah, I know.
Additionally, songs will be sung from Aida, Aladdin, Frozen, The Lion King, The Little Mermaid, Mary Poppins, Newsies, and Tarzan. The concert will be headlined by a to-be-announced lineup of Broadway favorites. A quote from Thomas Schumacher, president and producer of Disney Theatrical Productions and executive vice president of Broadway Cares Board of Trustees. Broadway Cares rose from a time of crisis and need to become an essential part of the Broadway landscape. It would be hard to imagine our community without the essential resource that is Broadway Cares. This special evening allows our Disney on Broadway family to both express our deep thanks and to raise much-needed funds for Broadway Cares. Tickets are on sale now at BroadwayCares.org or by calling 212-840-0770.
Was that part of the quote?
No, that's part of my quote.
Oh, okay.
He's an incredible marketer.
Yeah.
Just like
always thinking about it.
It's a good question, though.
that's how he ends every conversation, by bringing up a phone number and a website.
Get your tickets now.
So are we going? Is that the consensus? We're
Oh,
going to go see
man.
this concert?
Duh.
I'm going to be in Disney World for the Run Disney
that's
event,
right.
so I can't make it.
All right. Well, Ben, Amanda, we're going.
Good for you.
Let's do this.
Do you know what I always forget about? Aida.
Yeah,
And that show has some incredibly beautiful music.
it sure does.
It sure does.
All right. Well, we're going to go and we're going to hear it. In fact, you could play Amneris. Amanda?
That sounds wonderful.
Dressing's always been my strongest suit.
Oh, I guess Patrick has claimed the role. I'm sorry, Amanda. You've been recast.
That's all right. That's all right.
I got
We'll come and
this.
support. I also just want to take this opportunity to send a little PSA out to colleges with mostly white theater students. Stop doing this show. Thank you.
Disney World has a deal for those that choose to sleep in or enjoy a leisurely brunch during their visit. New midday magic tickets are available and valid for admission after 12 p.m.
I love a good midday magic. You know what I mean?
I think it means something different to you than it does in this scenario.
Well, let's find out.
Okay.
That is a great idea.
Wait, Patrick's midday magic or Disney's midday magic?
Patrick's.
Thank you
Oh,
so much.
wait. This took a turn. I was not expecting that, Amanda.
And Disney's.
Okay.
What a good idea.
Yeah. According to Disney Parks blog, Midday Magic tickets are valid for admission after 12 p.m. and may be used at any of the 4 theme parks. The tickets are available in 2, 3, and 4-day options for use on or before December 15th, 2019. The 2-day ticket is available for $88 a day plus tax, for a total of $176 plus tax. The 3-day ticket is available for $84 a day plus tax, for a total of $252 a day total plus tax. And the 4-day ticket is available for $79 a day plus tax, and that amounts to $316 total plus tax.
Now, can you take advantage of extra magic hours at night if you have those tickets?
If you're staying on the resort. But I don't know, can you get those tickets through a resort purchase then?
I believe you can.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think you probably have to do the rooms separate, I would imagine, and then order the tickets separately.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah. As I said, tickets are valid for 1 theme park per day. Prices are for ages 10 and older. The price varies based on the selected start date. Lower prices may apply on certain dates. The 2-day ticket expires 4 days after the selected start date. The 3-day ticket expires 5 days after the selected start date. And the 4-day ticket expires 7 days after the selected start date. So it sounds like you would need to do a room purchase separately from these tickets. For more information or to purchase the Disney's Midday Magic ticket, visit disneyworld.com/middaymagic.
I love this idea, and I have to imagine it's Disney's response to the fans' response to them raising their ticket prices so extravagantly.
Sure.
And also the annual pass prices went up pretty exponentially.
Yeah.
And so this is a really good way for you to be able to afford going to Disney again. And especially if you're not a morning person and don't care about rope drop, this is perfect.
Also, it does something that you guys taught us, which may be our new way of Disneying, which is the midday respite.
Oh, sure.
Just an hour or 2 of quiet, swimming, taking a nap, whatever. It allows you to relax, to not panic or put yourself through physical or emotional duress in the parks. I mean, it feels, if you can't get into the park until noon, how wonderful is that? Just to be leisurely about your morning, to relax, to be prepared, especially if you have little ones. I mean, what a great idea. I think that's really smart.
I like that this kind of gives people an opportunity to maybe go to Disney Springs and have brunch, like at homecoming or whatever, and not feel that they're losing money during that time. They can enjoy their brunch and then head over and get into the park at noon.
I'd like to coin the phrase Disney-esta for what you guys do in the middle of the day.
Ooh, that was almost clever.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say, Ben.
It's Disney-esta?
Disney-esta.
I'm going to call this package the hangover package.
I like it.
Don't you think? It sounds like that's right up my alley. As part of their commitment to education, Disney has partnered with Khan Academy to create a free online program called Imagineering in a Box. The program brings together the talents of Disney Imagineers from around the world for a unique experience using their skills to inspire aspiring Imagineers. The series features 32 videos providing one-of-a-kind lessons from story development to conceptual design to math, physics, and engineering. The goal of each lesson is to ignite curiosity, inspire creativity, and encourage innovation. The modules range from a tutorial on engineering software to an interactive exercise where students are encouraged to gather items around them and create something new. Each activity is designed to be scalable, allowing individuals to learn on their own or in a classroom setting. To learn more about this program, visit khanacademy.org, that's Khan, and search Imagineering in a Box.
So, Patrick, while you were reading this,
Yes.
Amanda has been sitting here,
Just shaking,
arms raised,
smiling,
mouth agape, excited by this news story.
This is not an exaggeration. This is the greatest news that I have heard in so long. You guys, I dream of being an Imagineer. I dream of it. I am taking every module of this course.
It's really cool. I went through some of them last night. It's really outstanding work.
This is just remarkable news. I don't have time to finish the podcast. I have to go home.
Ben, how does it feel to be married to a future Imagineer?
Exciting.
Yeah.
You guys, can I tell you something precious about Ben TG?
What's
No.
that?
So Sean Bird, who is a mutual friend of all of ours and also a big Disney file, we were lamenting one day that we had not chosen the Imagineer path in our lives. And all of us work in the theater. And Ben says, well, actually, you guys are Imagineers.
I was literally just going to say that.
Just in a different way. And Sean and I both got weepy when he said it because we're nerds. But it was so sweet. It was like the nicest thing to say.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's a lot of what your job is now already. It's just not on the scale. You know, it's not on a Disney scale, but
Not yet, anyway.
Right?
Ben, Amanda, Patrick.
Yes.
If you're like Eddie Murphy's girl in the 1985 Billboard Hot 100 smash single Party All the Time,
Wow.
you're in luck because Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom has introduced the Party Pass for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I got there. Thank you for going on that journey with me.
Mickey likes to party all the time.
The pass offers unlimited access to the Frightfully Fun Party. That means you can attend every single night the party is running, and it even includes access to the parties that have been sold out. The Party Pass costs $299 plus tax for ages 10 and up and $284 for ages 3 to 9. Guests who have already purchased a ticket to the party can upgrade to the Party Pass. Discounts are not available for the pass. It appears that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party Pass cannot be purchased online, but it can be purchased at guest services or at the ticket window outside the Magic Kingdom. For more information, call the Disney Reservation Center at 407-939-4295.
It's a lot of party.
yeah, how many days are there?
30-something, I think.
Who the what? Wow. That's a lot.
How much money can you rake in candy if you went to every single
That's
party,
a really good
though?
point. You could
I mean-
fund your entire Halloween on candy alone.
So to be clear, you can go to all of the parties.
You can go to all of the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties, yeah.
I mean, that's basically an annual pass of sorts, I guess, just to the Magic Kingdom. But for what, 3 months?
yeah.
Because you get access to all of the rides in Magic Kingdom, free candy every single time you go.
And you don't have the lines.
You don't have
Right.
the lines.
Right. And it's not that unreasonable a cost if you think about it, because the Halloween ticket alone can be over $100. So $299 for an adult ticket is not unreasonable in my opinion.
No, that would pay for 3 parties, basically.
Yeah.
Think of what you'd save on food because you're just eating candy the whole time. That's free.
Right.
Right.
But then your diabetes bills later, that could be an issue.
No, Ben is immune. He could
Kick
eat
the
all-
can down the road.
I would do this and fully learn the choreography to all of the dances that happen at the castle
You could be a swing member.
and then just dance with them.
yeah.
I want to
It'd be
learn
amazing.
the shovel scrape dance in the parade.
The grave diggers.
The grave diggers.
So cool.
I love that part of the parade.
Me too.
I want you all to list all 30 costumes that you would wear for the nights of the party. Go.
Right now.
Since 2008, Disney has provided its guests with a peer-to-peer question and answer forum with the Disney Parks Mom Panel. Each year, a new panel of men and women are selected to represent the Disney parks by answering online questions from fellow guests. The search for the 2020 Moms Panel is about to begin. Disney is looking for lovers of Disney who consider themselves vacation planning pros. Applications will be accepted starting on September 5th. The window will close on September 12th. There are a few requirements you must fulfill to be eligible. A few examples are you must be 18 years or older, you must have access to a computer and the internet, you must have visited Disney World or Disneyland within the last 12 months, and you must be able to answer at least 10 to 20 questions per week. This is just a small list of the requirements. To see a full list and to apply, you can visit DisneyParksMomPanel.com.
Do you also have to be a parent?
You do not. You can be single, you can be a grandparent, an uncle, an aunt, none of the above.
Yeah, it's not just for the V's, it's also for the P's.
It's true.
Yeah.
I want them to change the name, though. It
Yeah.
feels restricting, and it
Agreed.
feels like they're self-selecting only women and mothers.
Agreed.
I get why they did it starting out that way.
For sure.
Yeah. But now times have changed, and it seems weird to be commenting on this when it is so obviously pro-female. But but yeah, I mean, anybody can be a mom, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I agree. And also, it forces, again, the issue of women being responsible for whatever caretaking or planning
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
goes into a trip. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of dads and uncles and, grandparents and whoever are really heavily involved. So I love the idea of it being guys too.
Yeah. It's a really useful tool as well. Have you ever utilized the Disney Moms panel?
I sure have.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
It is great.
Fun fact, I actually applied to be a Disney mom like 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
I made it pretty far in the interview process. So you start by providing an example of an answer, and then there's like a quiz that you have to take, and then you send in a video, and then you do a phone interview. It's really crazy.
Oh my goodness.
They're really selective about who they take, and clearly because they didn't take me. I was drunk each time I interviewed, though, but you know.
Yeah, they're not going to take someone who's more mommy dearest and less mom.
It's true. I advised everyone to go to Universal. I don't know if that was the right step to take.
Hey, gang.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
We are recently back from a whirlwind trip to Walt Disney World to experience our very first Gay Days in the parks.
Yes.
We each spent, 4 or 5 days down there?
Yep.
And got to hit all of the parks and got to see all of the gays we possibly could in Orlando at one time in the parks.
6 or 7.
That was it. 6 or 7 gays that we caught.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be a great opportunity for us to come on the podcast and talk about our experience. Ben and Amanda, you in particular, I'd love to know what you think, because everybody's tired of listening to me and Patrick and our opinions about Disney World. It's great to have some fresh blood on the podcast. Not
Happy
so
to be
fresh, but yeah, just fresh enough.
Some recurring blood.
Some recurring blood.
Intermittent blood.
To tell us all about your experience and to also talk about some new things we experienced on this trip, some things that we needed to say goodbye to on this trip.
Like each other.
Like each other. Some days it felt like that.
Today is one of those days.
Oh, Patrick.
What?
Is it?
No.
Okay.
A little.
Yeah.
So here's what I thought going in to Gay Days.
Yeah.
We were super excited because we've never been to the parks with you guys before.
That was the highlight, was it not?
No question. It was like being on a luxury tour of Disney World.
Yeah.
But I had been doing some research before we went just because I love doing it. And there were some blog posts, some family centered. I'm saying, you guys can't see me doing this out there in TV land, but I'm holding up air quotes.
This is also a podcast, so not a TV.
Right.
She's watching, Amanda.
Right.
However, yeah.
Right.
Who is watching?
Yeah, look around. But the way that this was framed by some of the quote unquote family sites
Sure.
was this might be a weekend to avoid Disney World because it's Gay Days. So my dander was up. I kind of went in feeling braced to be defensive.
Yeah, sure.
To some degree, which I realize, may sound a little silly, but and that's not the experience I had at all. And I don't know how Ben felt about that, but it was again, I guess I should have expected that being at Disney, it would feel like a safe space. I didn't feel like there was a lot of celebration happening. I wish there had been more for Gay Days and more of a kind of, even though this isn't an official Disney event, we're still really excited that you're here and we're welcoming you into this space. But I did feel there were a couple of moments when people would walk past and celebrate your t-shirts,
Sure.
things like that felt like people were aware of what was going on in the park. And also there were other people there specifically looking to celebrate some of the same things. So that was, I thought, really exciting.
And we should clarify for those that maybe have not listened to the previous episodes that Amanda's been on or Amanda and Ben have been on. They are a married couple. They are straight.
We are.
And so they were coming into this as allies and supporters of the community.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for your support.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for letting us join you on the trip.
You're welcome.
You're so sincere right now, Patrick. And also insincere? Wow, you walk a fine line.
I don't know. I feel like when people call themselves allies, it feels really weird to me. That's not a thing you get to decide for yourself. A community that you're in support of will decide that or not.
Sure.
So that's really kind. We appreciate that. And also appreciate being allowed into your space, because it could have been a weekend where you decided, you know what, we just want to celebrate and be here with our community. And you let a bunch of straight whites come with you. So thank you.
We were on the fence prior to the trip.
Yeah.
And now you've officially made it to allyship.
Yeah, I don't remember an invitation ever being extended. It was more like just we're coming with you. So, yeah, that's how that worked out.
For sure.
We should say we did not attend any of the kind of extraneous GayDayS events outside of the parks, right?
Correct.
Like, there are hotel sponsorships that have pool parties and dance parties. Maybe Ben, did you go to some of the pool parties and dance parties?
I went to a couple, yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so. You were looking a little ragged some of those days.
Yeah,
you came
you know,
back and like...
Totally worth it,
What
though.
time did you get to bed last night? But
Needed the hangover package.
that's right.
Oh,
Call back.
yes.
So we didn't get to explore any of those opportunities. We're not really those types of gays, Patrick, are we? Sometimes we are,
You
but
don't know me like that.
but we were really kind of parks focused this trip.
Yes.
And I will say I was surprised at how few red shirts we saw down there on the days that were designated for red shirts in the parks. And for those of you that don't know, they do designate certain days and certain parks where you can wear a red shirt to kind of show your support for the community.
I think GayDayS Orlando suffered from not doing it in June, Pride Month, and
Yeah.
separating themselves from the one magical weekend that is in June. So I think people were maybe confused or had already been in June and were like, I'm not going to take another trip out for this. So I think next year we've heard that they're going to be back in June during Pride. And so I imagine it'll be a much more attended event. But it actually worked out well for us because we got on rides pretty quickly.
It's true.
And that's the most important thing of all.
That's
When
right.
it comes to GayDayS.
That's right.
How soon can I get on Dumbo?
Yeah, it's more like a happy gay as opposed to an orientation gay.
Exactly. Exactly.
I didn't realize going in that it was not an official Disney thing. I didn't see a ton of red shirts, and so it seemed like less of a deal than I wanted it to be. It could be so much more fun, and you know, if it was an official event, I just think that'd be so much fun.
I think that's coming because Disneyland Paris did officially sponsor their GayDayS and Pride in the parks.
Oh, cool.
So I think we're a year or two away from Disney World and Disneyland officially becoming sponsors of this event.
And there were several members of the community and gay couples that came up to us while we were there and said that they didn't even realize it was like GayDayS in the parks. And so when they saw our shirts and we were able to give them a button, they were so thrilled because they had no idea that it was an event at all. And they were kind of kicking themselves because they didn't know and didn't have the opportunity to wear red as well.
I will say something very endearing, and I don't know if it was because it was GayDayS in the parks or if it was just a random happenstance, but there were a lot of children with their parents wearing the Disney Pride merch. And again, whether or not they were doing it because they identified as such or if they're just love rainbows or but either way, it was really beautiful to watch families bring their children and allowing them to wear Pride merchandise in the parks. You wouldn't see that 5 years ago even, you know? So it was really progressive and lovely to see.
It was also really great to get those nods from people, and in particular families with kids, straight couples with kids, you know, who would see a shirt or recognize that we were gay or, you know, members of the community. And they would kind of give you that wink or that nod and be like, you know, we support you. We're so happy that you're here having this experience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think your shirts opened up some great conversation. I mean, just the podcast shirts. Again, this is me admitting that I was maybe a little more defensive than I needed to be, but we had this one moment where we were all walking down a sidewalk and Matthew, Adam's boyfriend, who was also on the trip, was standing next to me and a woman walked by and she dropped her jaw when she saw Adam's shirt. And I like immediately went on the defense. I was like, okay, if this lady says anything, and I said to Matthew, was she just balking at that shirt? And he was like, no, I think she liked it. And then she turned around and came back and she was like, that's the best shirt I've seen in the park all day. So it was very like supportive and sweet. And you're right. It had this air of support and love that was happening in the parks.
So here's hoping we just get more of that as the years go on and as it hopefully becomes an official Disney-sponsored event.
Here, here.
Here, here.
Yes.
Queer, queer.
Queer, queer.
Queer. Do it, Disney.
So let's talk about some of the firsts that we experienced on this trip, because we all have been frequently, very recently, to Disney World. So sometimes it can be difficult to kind of pick out what we want to experience as a new kind of attraction or event. But we all had new experiences on this trip. Ben and Amanda, had you stayed at All-Star Movies before? That was your resort.
First time.
What did you think of that experience?
I liked staying there. I don't know what Amanda thinks, but the only issue we had was just with the bus service. It took a little bit longer than we wanted it to take, but I thought the resort itself was a fun place to stay.
I did too. It was super fun. I mean, it's not a place where you want to go and without going to the parks, just spend your week there. It definitely does not have the feel of any kind of deluxe resort, to be clear. But also it seemed like we agreed it would be a really good place to be with kiddos. There were a lot of amenities. The food court was great. They had movies you could sit and watch outside. There was a great pool. I mean, it was a place where I think families would have a lot of fun. And for Ben and me, we were trying to save money and just needed a place to crash every night. So it was great. We stayed in the Toy Story section.
Cute.
Yeah, it was delightful. And I felt like our room was quiet. We didn't hear a lot of noise. There wasn't chaos happening around us. It was great, except for the smell in the lobby.
I think if you're a fan of heavier Disney theming, All-Star Movies, and maybe Art of Animation too, might be your jam, where you are surrounded by those icons of Disney movies, right? Like there's the Toy Story section, there's the 101 Dalmatians section, and then Art of Animation, they have like the Little Mermaid rooms and the Cars rooms. And so I think from that standpoint alone, if your kids really love that kind of Disney theming, they're going to go nuts for All-Star Movies.
You still feel like you're in the parks at the All-Star Resorts.
Oh, that's a great way of putting it, Patrick.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, first world problems. It was a bummer to wait for the bus.
Sure.
But also in those moments where we really knew we had to meet you guys for a reservation or something, we jumped in a Lyft or an Uber and it took a couple of minutes and was like $7 total. So that was not really an issue. And if we weren't on a time constraint, it was fine to wait for the bus.
Yeah, we should mention that all of those All-Star resorts are really in a great location because they're very close to Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. The only kind of distance you may need to travel is to the Magic Kingdom. And Patrick,
yes,
we had a first resort stay as well. We both stayed at the resort before, but we have not stayed in the new tower, the new Gran Destino Tower at Coronado Springs.
That is a true fact.
What did you think of that tower, Patrick?
I really loved it. I was hesitant going into it. Not hesitant, but I wasn't expecting much. It was, from the moment you step into the lobby, it's absolutely beautiful. It is so well designed and so comfortable and quiet even. I really loved it. I would stay there again for sure.
It definitely feels more high-end moderate or like baby deluxe.
I'm surprised that it's not like a full-on deluxe resort.
Yeah. The lobby is gorgeous. It's Spanish. It's absurdist almost, but also modern. I don't know how to kind of really encapsulate everything that's going on in there, but it is really beautiful. It smells incredible in the lobby.
The rooms were beautiful too, very comfortable. Mine had a view, I think you had the opposite view of me. Mine had a view of Hollywood Studios, so you could see, especially at night, it was a great view to see Galaxy's Edge and the Tower of Terror lit up at night. It was really fun.
Yeah, we were on the opposite side of the tower, so we saw the lagoon and the casitas off in the distance. And as I said, we had both stayed at Coronado Springs before in the casitas, right? You had been in the casitas before?
Yes.
Which aren't drastically different from the rooms in the tower, right? I would say the rooms in the tower are a bit more maybe industrial or kind of chic in that regard, or a bit more modern.
Modern, I would say, for sure. The showers were
oh my
beautiful.
Gosh, the showers, yeah.
With the rain shower above.
Yeah.
It was really great.
Yeah.
It was a nice amenity.
Yeah, I would absolutely stay there again.
For sure.
So, Patrick, before you arrived, Ben and Amanda and me and Matthew had the opportunity to actually dine at Tiffin's in Animal Kingdom.
The fun happened before I got there. Thanks,
That's
guys.
not true. You bring the fun wherever you go. We were quite miserable without you, but we were eating a delicious meal while being miserable.
Great.
So we actually experienced another first, which was dining at Tiffin's, but we actually chose the Rivers of Light dining package. And the reason we chose that was because none of us had seen Rivers of Light before, not even the original version or the subsequent versions. And right now they're running Rivers of Light We Are One, which incorporates more of kind of Disney animation elements into it. So, Ben and Amanda, please talk to me about this dining package that we experienced at Tiffin's.
Oh my gosh, I cannot say enough about this dining package. It was a blast. I just didn't know what to expect at all. And we had eaten at, you guys help me, what's the lounge that's adjacent to Tiffin's?
The Nomad?
The Nomad Lounge. With my in-laws, Ben's parents, we sat one day out and had just some apps and some drinks and cocktails, but had not been to Tiffin's. And the package was what was it, Adam?
$68 per person, excluding tax, and alcohol's not included. And the meal includes an appetizer of your choice, an entree of your choice, and a dessert of your choice.
And then also premium seating to watch Rivers of Light.
That's right.
At some point that evening, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we sat down and, when you go into some kind of situation where it's like mass-produced prefix menus, it's going to be, largely
Wedding food.
Yeah. Not the case. It was absolutely delicious. I ordered the surf and turf, which was lobster tail and Wagyu beef.
Wow.
And that alone at any restaurant in the country is going to cost at least what we paid for the package. We had delicious appetizers. I got a gorgeous cheese plate. The desserts were heavenly. I mean, it was so worth the money. And the company was divine.
Yeah, I think this was the best food I've had at a sit-down place at Disney World. Normally, I don't like the sit-down places because of what Amanda said. It just feels so wedding foody kind of
generic.
Thing. Yeah. But this place was great. And yes, it's expensive, but I think the value was definitely there. Like what you got for that money was pretty outstanding.
Yeah, we should say the surf and turf, which 3 of us at the table had, was $65 alone on the menu, and the dining package is $68.
Wow.
So when you factor in, your appetizer, like for instance, I had the charcuterie board, and that was $17 on its own. So I had the charcuterie board, the surf and turf, and then the dessert that I had was $13. I was just trying to choose the most expensive things on the menu.
Of course.
So it is an incredible deal, and if you have not seen Rivers of Light and plan to do that, why would you not take advantage of this package?
For sure, if it's available, of course.
Now, we had alcoholic drinks on top of this. So then the bill came and you're like, oh, what have I done? But, the package price alone is a great deal.
And also we had a 5:45 seating, which in my mind was like the afternoon. I was like, what in the world are we going to do until the thing starts? And it was actually gorgeously timed. I mean, we sat there and enjoyed our meal. What would you say? We were there for 2 hours at the table?
Yeah.
Just talked and caught up and had a great time. The waitstaff was super friendly and lovely. And then almost immediately just kind of wandered over, took our seats, and within a half an hour, the show started.
And what did you think of the show? None of us had seen it before.
I liked the show. I thought it was fun. They did a lot of the projection on water, which was, I think, really neat. The little floaty guys that come out.
It's a technical term for them. Yeah.
Those were really pretty. I liked those.
The animals on the floats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the lotus flowers or whatever I was emotional about it. I thought it was lovely. You know what? It kind of, if I have one criticism of it, it's that I thought it sort of lacked a narrative.
Sure. Yeah.
I understand what it was trying to do. Obviously it's trying to talk about the value of all life and the relationship between humans and animals. But it needed some kind of beginning, middle, and end. I just thought it sort of jumped around a little bit. So I think I would have liked a different kind of narrative.
To me, it felt like the animated sequences featuring moments from Disney films felt kind of jammed in there. Like they were like, we want people to see this. We know that including IP will be more of a draw. It wasn't throughout. It was more like right at the beginning and right at the end. They kind of brought it back. And you're right, Amanda. I think that needed more of a kind of cohesive story to pull it all together. But it's really beautiful to look at. And the music is really beautiful as well. It's kind of a very meditative show. Like you can almost apply your own meaning to it and kind of sit back and relax and think about your day and think about what Disney means to you. Wow, this is getting really deep, but that's kind of what I experienced watching the show.
I agree. And I also think that's because it doesn't really go anywhere. Like all the big effects and stuff happen right away and then nothing changes after that. So you can allow yourself to your mind will wander if you let it, because the effects just don't build. Yeah.
Sounds like the designers could use the Imagineering in a Box class.
Yeah.
And then get back to us.
I mean, it's cool though.
They could also use a dramaturg, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know what is interesting to me, though, and that struck me right out of the gate? I realize this is a hot take for some artists, but man, I love the resources Disney has. Just like seeing the cool technological feats that they can accomplish is just amazing to me. I love to sit and watch and like try to figure out how they made all of that work and think of the effort it would take to build what they needed to build as an infrastructure under the water.
Right. Yeah.
To make that thing happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really, I find that to be very cool and very interesting to watch. So aside from whatever the narrative was, I also just found the technology fascinating.
Another first we experienced on this trip was Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy at Hollywood Studios. It was hot while we were down there. Can we all agree on that? It was a hot time.
Agreed.
I got there later, though, so it wasn't actually that hot when I arrived, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
I was hot on the entire.
I thought it got warmer as the week went on.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just me.
I just mean that day. Are you talking about generally, or are you talking about
In
that
general.
day?
Yeah, in general.
Oh, yeah. It was hot.
Ooh.
Patrick's hot take. It was hot.
You guys, speaking of the heat, I have not figured out my Disney attire yet. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
The level of physical discomfort that I feel in heat is like staggering. I mean, and I feel like I'm getting closer, but I've never quite figured out exactly what keeps me cool and just comfortable and whatever. Got to figure that out.
Swim trunks. That's what I do.
I literally,
Or running shorts.
Yeah, I almost brought board shorts, and then I was like, okay, calm down.
Have you tried what I do? Just wear jeans.
Oh, man.
Oh, Ben.
Ben wears jeans, everyone. Ben wears jeans the entire time. Ben wears jeans. I can't wrap my brain around it.
I don't own any shorts at all.
Can we address that on this podcast right now? Just
Sure.
briefly. Is it you don't like your legs, or what's going on there?
I don't like how they fit me. I don't know. I'm just a jeans guy. I like jeans. The shorts just, I don't have any problem with my legs.
I do. I've got a few problems with them.
Yeah, I think it's just how they fit. I don't like how they feel.
Don't you guys believe staunchly that he would be so much more comfortable in shorts?
Yes, 100%.
I feel fine in jeans.
Okay. All right.
You got to live your truth, Ben.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, just some of the things I see people wearing in Disney anyway, I'm just like, as Patrick kind of brought up several episodes ago, please throw any kind of body issues you have out the window, because we want you to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Everyone out there.
I wore two things that I wouldn't be caught dead in any other scenario in my life.
A Gays Do the D t-shirt.
No, that I would wear anywhere. Running skirts,
Oh, yeah.
not a thing that I wear in life normally. And also Crocs sandals.
Yeah, but those don't look like Crocs.
Okay, thank you.
They do not look like
I
Crocs.
refused
Not at all.
to get the original kind of Croc look
Right.
for the trip.
Right.
Although a lot of people wear them in the parks and
Sure.
swear by them.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who wears Crocs all the time. She's a former Disney cast member and said, trust, get the Crocs. So I just got the sandals. Heaven on earth. Anyone who's listening, swallow your pride and get yourself a pair of Crocs sandals.
Do they make them for men?
Sure do. They're seriously the most heavenly. I never one time was like, oh, my feet hurt, ever.
And I can't speak to the male version, but the female version that Amanda was wearing, or whoever wants to wear it version, I'm not going to assign a gender to these
get
sandals.
into it.
But I'm just saying that they are not what you're thinking. If you've seen a Croc before, like the classic Crocs, it's not at all like that. It's very open. It looks kind of elegant, honestly. They look great.
Thank you.
Are we sponsored by Crocs?
We
Feels like we
should
just
be.
had a full-on commercial. Back to the episode.
Back to Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy.
Oh, yeah.
That was a first for us. Patrick, you had seen it on the trip prior, but we haven't had a chance to talk about your experience.
Nobody asked me, Adam.
I know.
Nobody asked me.
It would have been me, but I didn't ask you. So what do we all think about Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy?
It's a show at
It was
Disney.
it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
the temperature wise, yeah.
It's visually neat.
Yeah.
I just don't care about cars, and so I'm not their audience.
I have not seen any Cars movies.
I don't care about actual cars in life. So
There was a guy behind us loving every moment of the show.
Good.
Yes.
Good for him.
Yes. Was that you, Patrick?
It was not.
Oh, okay.
I was
I'm
on
glad-
a plane.
Yeah, I'm glad someone enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Good job, sir.
It's not unenjoyable. It's
No.
just not as special as so many other things in Disney are to us. We're just not their target audience, though.
Agreed.
Yeah, maybe if I was a fan of the movies, but I just
But even still, like the animatronic that is Lightning McQueen is cool.
Yeah.
But it was like I wanted him to appear in smoke or something,
Right.
not just like let's move this curtain now and there's the car. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was very unimaginative. The reveal.
And there was a lot of screen time where you're just looking at a screen. And nothing else was happening.
Yeah.
And also, I just can't, you guys, Larry the Cable Guy, I can't. I
can't either.
My skin crawls.
Yeah. The hairs
Same.
on the back of my neck go up when I hear his voice.
same.
But as Ben said, it's very air conditioned. So if you need a break, head down to the rock and roller coaster area and head to that black box theater because you can have a nice break with some NASCAR fans, right?
Yeah.
Fun.
My dad was a NASCAR fan. I'll never understand. He also wore jeans in Epcot. I don't get it.
no.
Okay, anyway. So We also got to experience the Winnie the Pooh breakfast at Crystal Palace, which 3 of us had not done before. Ben, Amanda, and I, and Matthew, who's not here, had not done it before. Patrick, you had this experience before, correct?
I've done so many things that you guys hadn't done before.
I know.
I'm pretty well versed in Disney World.
I know. What did we all think of the breakfast with the Pooh Gang?
I think it's one of my favorite buffets in Disney.
Oh, man.
It's not too intrusive with the characters. It's just intrusive enough. And who doesn't love Winnie the Pooh and gang?
Right.
You know?
Right.
That buffet was awesome.
Yeah.
And also, I'm just going to be really honest. I was terrified of the idea of a character breakfast. I mean, like just the idea of like being forced to interact with characters. And I am an actor. So there's a part of me that's like, oh, I'm sorry you're in that, you know.
Right.
And I was just delighted by it from start to finish. Patrick's right. It was like a perfect blend of, okay, we're getting time with these characters. And also the actors were so great at staying in character, but also like really specifically communicating. They made clear things that they wanted us to do that morning or that they liked something about what we were doing without overstepping their characters. And it was just super cute to see other little kids interact with them.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And Patrick, when Patrick would interact with them, that was cute too.
I love that.
I know.
You're so soft.
They're
they're so
precious.
soft.
I agree. I thought it was totally delightful. And I got to see Ben hug Piglet, which was one of our goals.
Highlight of the trip.
Yeah.
I have photos. I need to post them. Maybe that'll be the show photo. Ben hugging Piglet.
I like it.
I think the actors do a really great job of adjusting for adults. So it doesn't feel weird at all, like you think it would. I'm not a costume character guy. Like that's not important to me. They did a really good job of not making me feel weird. And yes, the buffet was, I thought, great. And I did really enjoy just watching the kids, how much that meant to them to see those costume characters. That was really fun. And the ice cream was great.
Yes. In fact,
Wasn't it? Oh, man. It was so good.
I'll never forget. That was the day that Ben had ice cream for breakfast and lunch.
And dessert later that night.
And dessert later that night.
There was a lot of ice cream
Ben,
that day.
One buffet item I'd like to call out was the breakfast lasagna, which I had never had before.
It was so good.
And for those of you that don't know, it's basically like a layered lasagna of pancakes, waffles, shortbread,
Banana pudding.
banana pudding. Yes, and that's kind of the overarching flavor is the banana.
in a good way, though.
Yes.
Not that fake banana flavor.
Yeah.
It was like fresh banana taste.
Yeah, I highly encourage anyone who likes banana, please get this when you go to the buffet because it is phenomenal.
And throw some ice cream on it, too.
well, why not? And what did you do? You put like ice cream on top of it, but then what was underneath it?
It was a cinnamon roll on the bottom of it.
Okay, good. Good.
It was, oh, you guys.
You took it upon yourself to add some extra layers into that lasagna.
I plussed my experience.
I love it. This was the day I think that Ben discovered that he loves Disney soft serve.
Yes, it was.
Because you're very picky about your ice cream.
I'm picky about my soft serve, and when I tried that buffet soft serve, I was like, what is happening? And then we had more later on in Fairy Tale Land. What's that called?
Fantasyland?
Fantasyland.
Yeah. And it was good again, and then it clicked.
That's right, because Amanda got the Lost Princess cone at Storybook Treats. And Ben, is that what you sampled and enjoyed? Or did you actually just have soft serve straight up?
I had soft serve straight up.
Yeah.
And as a jeans wearer, you need to keep constant ice cream flowing.
Yes. Oh, that's the secret. Okay, good. There we have it.
Turn yourself into an ice box.
That's right.
Got it.
He actually got 1 cone to eat and then 3 to just toss down his pants.
It's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, we should mention that the adult price for the Winnie the Pooh breakfast is $38. That's tax included and gratuity is not included. And on top of that, then they do have alcoholic options that you can purchase for breakfast, like a delicious white sangria, which I highly recommend. That is not included in that price.
I think that was absolutely worth that. It was a delight.
100%.
The buffet was fantastic. It was a delight to see the characters, to see people interact with them. Do this out there, podcast land.
Yeah, these breakfast buffets, character buffets specifically, are a really good, affordable way to meet the characters that you don't want to wait an hour in line to meet. And you can't meet Eeyore or Piglet, I don't think, anywhere else in the parks. So this is a really good opportunity.
Yet another first we got to experience on this trip, although I had been there before many, 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 many years earlier.
Oh, that's right.
I may have been like 7 or 8, but we all got to have dinner at Restaurant Marrakesh in the Morocco Pavilion at Epcot.
Love it.
Yes. What did you think about this dining and show experience? Honestly, there's a show element to it too.
This was one of my favorite dinners I've ever had in Disney World. I really loved it. It's my favorite pavilion in Epcot, first of all, so that helped. But it was so delicious and so friendly and affordable, and the beer was good.
Yes.
I loved it. Yeah. It was another sit-down place with excellent food. I don't know. It didn't feel like I was in Disney World. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely delicious. Several of us had the lemon chicken tagine.
Oh, man.
It was heaven.
So good.
It was amazing. Order that if you are going to go and just want something clean and refreshing. It's really good.
Yeah, delicious. And you told us some really interesting history, right, Adam, about the restaurant?
Or about the pavilion in general. I think it was actually Patrick who brought it up about the Moroccan pavilion.
Yeah, I know things, Amanda.
It was fascinating, I thought.
Thank you.
What was the fact that you brought up, Patrick?
So Morocco has the distinction of being, I believe, the only pavilion in Epcot that was funded and partly designed by the government of Morocco. I believe the king at the time, if I'm being PC.
Yeah, I think it was a king at the time that the pavilion was built.
Sure.
He sent artisans actually to Epcot to help construct the pavilion to make sure that things were really, truly authentic.
That's right. So it really is, I believe, the most authentic pavilion in the World Showcase.
It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
And I think Restaurant Marrakesh gets a bad rap, or maybe not a bad rap, but I think people tend to avoid it because they're afraid of the food that they're going to experience there. But honestly, it's comfort food. It's like chicken and meat and, couscous and bread, and there's booze there. It's delicious.
They're really lovely flavors, too. It's almost Greek in the flavor palette.
That's
I would
right.
say. There's a lot of like olives and lemon flavors and spices. It's so delicious. And we were noting that Restaurant Marrakesh is so enormous. It looks like it's the size of the France Pavilion.
Yeah.
It's insanity how big it is.
And so beautiful in there. It's very austere and just like white and ornate carvings. And it's a great restaurant.
I'd recommend it to anybody who's looking for something a little bit off the beaten path at Epcot.
And not only do you get a meal, you also get a show because there is a belly dancer that comes out periodically throughout your meal. And there's an incredible musician who performs along with her. And it's a great show.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
And you may get Mohammed as your waiter. And Mohammed was fine. That was a good-looking waiter, guys. Did not give me the time of day, but he was good-looking.
He did give you a wine, though.
He did give me, yeah.
That probably helped.
I ordered it, but yeah, he gave me the wine. All right, let's get down to it. Because there was a big first, a very big first that the three of you got to experience while you were in Walt Disney World. And that was your first experience of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Yep.
That's all you got to say, Patrick?
No, it was outstanding. Like, I think the only way to really describe it is just to say that this is a game changer for how we are going to experience theme parks going forward.
Yeah, definitely. The theming was stunning. I mean, shocking at moments, in fact. One of the things that struck me, and this is maybe a little bit down to business, but it was amazing how Disney had partnered with other companies to make the world all come together. I mean, concessions, things that were for sale in gift shops, some of the, specific references to films or to the canon. All of it was completely comprehensive. It was unbelievable and cohesive. I'll be really honest. The ride was the least of it for me, to be really frank. Hot take. I didn't actually find the ride all that compelling, but I did find the land to be just stunning. I mean, it was almost breathtaking, almost too much to take in at moments. It was like being in a different planet.
It's so immersive.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that don't know, Amanda is referencing Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is the only ride currently open in the land. Rise of the Resistance will be opening in December in Walt Disney World. Patrick and Ben, what did you think of the ride?
I liked it. I didn't. There are better rides at Disney World, to be frank about it. I think it's beautifully themed. Every inch of that ride is incredible to look at. But the ride itself, the experience itself, it was fun. but I would not wait more than an hour to go on it again.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Every detail is so beautifully done. That part of it is really neat, but it didn't feel nostalgic at all for me. All the characters were new, and the Millennium Falcon was cool because seeing that in person is amazing. But like the ride itself, can I like talk about it?
Oh,
like,
sure.
Is there spoilers? Okay.
No, go ahead.
Well, like, so they bring you in teams, right? And then Amanda and I were given the role of gunners. So as a Star Wars fan, if I hear I'm going to be the gunner, I'm going to be sitting in that little 360 chair like Luke Skywalker shooting TIE fighters. Instead, you're just like sitting there mashing this button.
In row 2.
And yeah, in row 2, and for no reason. Like it doesn't, it's after a while you're like, there's no reason for me to be hitting this button. This is totally stupid. So I wish they would have done more to make it feel like you were in the movie.
Sure.
I guess. Especially if you're working with teams, because that would have been really fun. Even, like maybe we go to a different part of the ship or something, quote unquote, you know.
Yeah. What I didn't like about the button part when you're not the pilot is that they're on the side. And so you have to look away from the screen to hit the button that you're supposed to, quote unquote, hit. And so your eyes are taken off the screen, whereas only the pilot gets the full effect of the ride.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go on the ride and you're going to wait more than an hour, tell the cast member that you want to be the pilot, because that, I think, is going to be the best experience on the ride.
That was the thing I thought was really, the toughest part about it is that it's weirdly designed. There are buttons that light up that you're supposed to be pressing, and there are a couple of them. I think we had 2 buttons that we kind of moved between. And I felt exactly the same way, Patrick. Like, I wanted to watch the screen, but you can't. You have to keep looking over to the side to see which button you're supposed to be pushing.
For no reason.
For no reason. At least put the buttons in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a really...
And I'd make it clear why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You know, like, yes, I saw it when I would hit the button, I would see it shoot things, but I didn't know why I was doing that. It was pretty clear that it didn't matter if I did it or not.
I also think there's this potential for your team to bully you a little bit. Like when we were in line, some people kind of shoved in front of us and demanded that they be allowed to be the pilots, captains. What are they called?
Pilots. Yeah.
Because they had gone on it once already. So they insisted because they were more informed than we were.
Rude.
And it was no big deal. But I think also I wish Disney would manage that differently. That, you know, they're so good at crowd control that if people have gone through, you sort of have to know that you need to request a certain position if you want it. And you have to go through the ride a couple of times to experience all of the positions. I have no idea what the engineers do behind you when you're a gunner.
You don't do anything. I mean, you hit buttons. It's the same as being the gunner.
Okay.
It's like fixing things, but you don't get to see the results of what you're doing at all. It's like, this needs to be fixed. And I'm like pushing the button. I'm like, okay, like that's fine. I was fortunate enough in Disneyland when I got to visit Galaxy's Edge to be a pilot in the first go around.
Cool.
And then I was an engineer the second time I did it. And really, you do want to be driving that ship because that's where you experience the most responsive nature of the ride. Every other position you could be in doesn't give you the satisfaction of actually driving the Millennium Falcon.
Also, I mean, not to sound ridiculous, but I'm not like terribly out of shape. And actually, it's kind of hard. I mean, like the constant this, like shoving the button over and over, and it's at a weird angle.
Yeah.
Like my arm kind of hurt when it was done. It was sort of ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just seemed like sort of a non-Disney ride to me to some degree. I'm not sure why, but it
was very neat. The technology is very cool. But yeah, as a little kid, the thing I've always wanted to do was sit in that chair and swivel around and shoot TIE fighters. And I thought I was going to get to do it, and I didn't get to do it.
Oh, Ben.
That waiting room, though, where like the chessboard is, I could have spent more time there.
Yep.
And that's a good place. I think that they should have a cast member taking an actual photo for you.
Yes.
It seems like a missed opportunity that they don't do that yet, and maybe they will in the future.
Yeah. I mean, to be clear, it's amazing.
Yes.
It's
very fun.
It's an amazing place.
Very fun. Yeah.
I think our expectations are set really high now because of Avatar and Flight of Passage and what they did with that ride, that the bar, if you don't hit it, we've said this before, it's going to feel like a miss then. And by all practical standards, it's an amazing ride. Right.
Amazing.
Oh, super fun.
But our standards, I think, are getting higher and higher.
And honestly, the queue alone the fact that you're in the Millennium Falcon is reward enough, and the ride can be a little bit of a letdown after you've been in that chess room and you're like, you know, I mean, like it could just be a walkthrough experience of the Millennium Falcon, and how cool would that be?
Yeah, that would be cool too.
Well, and here's the thing I'll say that, you know, maybe you guys won't agree with, but as people of a certain age, we are exactly the same age as Star Wars. Like literally, we are the generation that grew up with Star Wars, and Disney doesn't own it. In our minds, we know they acquired it and that now they do. But Disney, as sort of like an interloper, if you will, like a new partner who's agreed to steward Star Wars going into the future, they also, as Patrick says, owe us a certain kind of partnership, I feel like, which I know they're aware of, but it also feels like maybe that's weighing into expectations as well, that we kind of go in and we're like, you know, all right, Disney, what'd you do with Star Wars? And I trust Disney always. I mean, I believe they will do great things with Star Wars, but that also weighs into the expectation of, you know.
Yeah, it felt to me like they were gearing it toward a new generation of Star Wars fan, leaving out the old generation of Star Wars fan, because it wouldn't have been hard to imagine what a Star Wars fan my age would have wanted that ride to be. And it just felt like they were like, well, this is going to be for younger kids.
Right. Chewie's there. Chewie's there to help.
We have our bases covered with Chewie.
Speaking of Chewbacca, Ben and Amanda got to go in a little bit before I did, and I went in by myself a little bit later, like an hour later, maybe.
Into the land, you mean?
The land. Yep. Because we were there for the passholder preview, and so they let you in segments. And I'm walking down the streets in Batuu, and I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I was like, "Oh, Ben and Amanda are behind me." Nope, it was Chewbacca.
Oh,
it was the best thing in the world. I got a little, and he gave me a hug, and it was one of the coolest things that's happened to me on the trip.
When we were in Disneyland, I got to watch the fireworks over Batuu, because that's just how the land is positioned in Disneyland, with Chewbacca standing next to me.
Oh, wow.
Fun.
That's amazing.
It was quite the experience, yeah.
One of the first things we saw when we entered was we were walking behind this little girl. She was probably 5 or 6 years old, and these two stormtroopers came up and stopped her and started grilling her. And they, you know, they did a really great job of having whatever the pre-recorded things that they had, but they were reacting to what she was saying and doing, and it was so cool.
Yeah, what they're doing with that aspect of the land is really cool. I want them to add more characters.
Same.
We were talking about that, Ben, you and I, about droids just like going down the street. That would be really cool to see. And I imagine they will eventually as they get their bearings.
They are supposed to have droids free roaming the land.
That would be cool.
They were just concerned at this stage. Who knows what kind of line they're feeding us? They could just not be ready, but they're concerned with this initial kind of rush of people that people are going to overwhelm the droids. So they kind of want to slowly add these layers into the land.
That makes sense.
Let's talk more about your experience outside the ride, because as Amanda said, there's just so much to experience, and that's truly where like the immersion comes into play. Were you guys able to experience the Droid Depot or Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities or some of the food locations?
All of the above. We went into every shop you could go into. Ben and Amanda got to go into the cantina. I did not. They were only doing reservations when I got there, but they got to experience that.
What did you think of the cantina?
Again, it's just everything is so perfectly detailed and amazing. I had the same issue though that I had with the Millennium Falcon, where it just not enough felt familiar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was definitely a cantina, and I get that it's a cantina on a different planet, but in my mind, the cantina has specific things from the movie, and they weren't there. So it was really fun and neat, and I loved it. I thought the food that we got was really cool. They did a good job of making it seem like food that didn't exist on our planet, which was really, really fun.
Did you have the fuzzy tauntaun? Did you get that drink?
No, we had jet fuel and Jedi mind trick.
Oh, great.
I thought they were great. Whiskey at 9 a.m. is quite an experience. And we ordered the bar snacks, and we ordered like a breakfast sweet roll kind of thing.
With purple icing on it. Doesn't it have purple icing on it?
Yeah, and like crumbles that look like Oreo kind of. I thought it was all great. I mean, when we walked in, Ben leaned over my shoulder and goes, dun, 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 dun. Like right as we walked in. And then it was like, I mean, obviously, again, it's a different planet. So
Yeah, I get that it's a different cantina. It's not that cantina.
You just want New Hope Cantina.
I want New Hope Cantina. Yeah.
He doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
And when we went in, they were so nice to us and super accommodating because we didn't have tickets to get in there and they just let us in.
Oh, wow.
But the lady said to us, who was waiting on us, said, don't move from this table, please. Like, please don't wander the room. So then, we were kind of stuck back in a corner and you couldn't really explore, which of course it's a preview. We don't have right to just wander all over the place yet, but it'll be interesting to go back and be able to actually
It's a very small place though.
Right. There's only like 120 people that can accommodate at one time, I think.
And I did go to the other side. It was the same as ours. So it was pretty much, if you see one side, you've seen them both.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. You have to make reservations now. And we waited and got, when the reservations opened, waited in the online queue and got a bunch of reservations. But I'm not really sure. It's not for families. You don't want to, there's no food. There's some snacks, but it's really just a place to like grab a drink and relax a little bit and cool down and then head out. It's not a place you want a meal.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the other locations you visited while you were there.
We got some blue milk.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we shared a blue milk, a non-alcoholic blue milk, because it was 9:30 in the morning.
What did you think? Although Amanda just had whiskey, so she's fine.
That's true. She was ready to go. Yeah.
What did you think of the blue milk?
I really liked it. Actually, a lot of people are saying avoid it, but I thought it was good.
Oh, those people are wrong.
Yeah, I think
like
so
blue
too.
milk.
We were trying to figure out what it tasted like, and like a couple of the examples were a melted down candy necklace.
Oh, yeah. I can see
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Or the milk after eating Fruity Pebbles.
To me, it was like kind of liquidated Skittles. That's what I was getting from it. But it's definitely candy
Smarties,
flavor.
maybe.
Yep,
Yeah.
Smarties.
Oh, that's a good
Smarties
call.
Yeah, they also did a really good job of giving it like a milky quality. Like it did sort of feel like a milkshake.
It's big, too. I would say share it because we couldn't finish it ourselves.
It's thick.
Yeah. It's pretty heavy, but it's delicious. And the flavor is such that I don't think you would want that flavor for a full beverage of it.
Wrong.
We also had the sweet and spicy popcorn.
Yes.
I loved it. As a popcorn connoisseur, I devoured that popcorn.
What are the colors associated with it? It's
Blue and red.
Yeah, okay. Great.
Delicious. I would recommend that as well.
You know what he also got that really impressed me?
What's
It's
that?
a tiny thing. A Diet Coke. And it was in this totally wild themed bottle. It was glorious.
It almost looks like a little droid or a grenade kind of bottle.
I kept it. It's actually right over there behind you because it's pretty sturdy enough and it looks not like a Coke bottle. So it's not like, why do you have a Diet Coke bottle?
Yeah, and like the shapes, they've done the shapes before. They did it for like a holiday. I remember them having like little holiday ornaments, sodas. But the fact that it's branded with like the alien language and stuff, it's so neat.
They give you a guide. At least they did us. And I don't know if that's only passholder preview, but you get the language, like the guide to interpreting the language. None of the stores there's not English. So
That's right. It's an Arabesh.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So at first we were like, have we been in this place before? Everything looks like the entrances look similar. Patrick was really good at kind of identifying, what space was what. But I thought that was really cool too. There is an unsettling to it because you're on another planet.
Sure.
And the doors that slide open like they do in the movies is pretty cool. There's
So
a lot
cool.
of really neat touches, and the details, I think, are the best part of the land. Also, they do a really good job of making you feel like you're not in Disney or anywhere, really. Like, the soundscape is so overwhelming in a good way that you don't hear anything outside the park. In fact, when we were leaving, there was this really weird shift going from the sound from Star Wars Land, and then all of a sudden you hear the Hollywood Studios music. It was like, well, we're not on Batuu anymore. It was amazing.
I forgot about the sound design. It was so good that every once in a while you would hear like weird creatures cackling or whatever. It definitely sounded like you were in another place.
Ships flying overhead.
Yes, ships flying
so
over.
cool.
The trees would move sometimes, like there was something in the bushes. It was crazy. I was like, what? They thought of every single inch of that land.
I also liked that they sort of layered the mountains in the background.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it seemed like when you looked up, it seemed like the land went on for like miles. You couldn't really see the other parks. I'm sure you can in certain places, but I didn't notice any of the other areas. Like I couldn't see Toy Story Land or anything like that.
Yeah, their forced perspective was really, really great. They put the Force in forced perspective.
Okay. All right. You took it there.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
So overall, are you going to be excited to return to the land and see what's new and kind of be able to have a chance to explore it more?
Totally. I have to say, going with a couple of Star Wars nerds was a joy to me. So I also look forward to going with other people who really passionately love Star Wars and just watching their reactions.
We were very sure to take note that we are never going to see the land this way again. It was not jam-packed as I imagine it will be in a couple of weeks. So we were very lucky, I think, to have experienced it with each other and in the way that we experienced it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it because I know you could just tell that there are plans in the makings for what's going to happen in that land. It's just such a neat place to be.
For sure, this was very clearly stage one of what's to come.
Well, we've talked about a ton of first experiences that we had on this trip, but there was one big last experience that we had, and that was saying goodbye to Illuminations at Epcot. It was our last opportunity to experience that nighttime spectacular, which has been around for years and years and years and years. And actually, Ben and Amanda, it was a first for you too, right? It was your first and last because you had not seen Illuminations before. What did you think about Illuminations?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I loved Illuminations, but I also, more than Illuminations, loved being there with you. I think Ben and I talked about it later, agreed that like the sort of emotional joy and weight that you were putting on that experience, I was kind of living it through you. So it is not something I will soon forget. I thought it was a total joy.
I disagree. I don't like doing things with you, and
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
This was no different. No, it was cool. It was very fun.
Yeah, I will admit I was not sure how I was going to experience that last time. And as soon as the torches were blown out, I started to get a little weepy, just because I associate that nighttime spectacular with being there with my family, you know, and like being there with my dad who has since passed away. And so, and on top of that, the music is just so gorgeous to me. So like each moment as it passed by, I was getting more and more emotional to the point where at the end of it, I was full on crying, you know, saying goodbye to this attraction. But it also felt good. It wasn't like I'm going to miss it so much. It was a great way to say goodbye to it. And I'm also really excited to see the next kind of interim nighttime spectacular, and where eventually, you know, when we get that more permanent Epcot show in the nighttime, I'm excited to see that one too.
I think it also helped that we had about, 3 margaritas in us?
Yeah, we had some cocktails too, but I swear it was the emotional experience and not the booze that was making me cry, I swear.
You guys, this is a first of sorts too. Speaking of margaritas,
yeah.
Ben and I really love, I think, the Three Caballeros ride. What's it called?
Grand Fiesta Tour with the Three Caballeros.
Yes, there you go. Pulled that one out. That was great. That's such a sleeper like joy for us. We love that ride. We always go on it. It's like one of those like take a deep breath, get some air conditioning, and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It needs a real rehaul, and I'm going to suggest Coco.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of people are gunning for that.
That's a great, and it would fit. But also, what we've never done is partake in the margaritas.
Oh, that was your first margarita experience?
We've never been in that
at La Cava?
Absolutely.
That
Oh my
place is great.
gosh, you guys.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Yeah, you can never go to Epcot now and not get one of those margaritas.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Absolutely not. Delicious. What was the name of the margarita to rule all? The Maelstrom Margarita.
That was it.
Life-changing.
Delicious. Yeah, give that a shot if you've not had the Maelstrom before.
Habanero, blueberry, basil. Out of this world.
Tasty.
Before we wrap up, a couple of things that I got to do that really made the vacation for me. I don't know if you have watched the Disney planning videos that come out. There's a woman named Julie who works in the Magic Kingdom, and she specifically works in the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. She sort of narrates the Magic Kingdom portion of the planning videos, and I have been watching those since before I went to Disney World and love them, and I watch them every time before I go to Disney World just to sort of get excited. And I was walking around Hollywood Studios. You guys had gone to take your nap. I had just landed. So I was like, I'm just going to walk around and wait for my ATLDs to come and meet me for a fun evening. And I hear her voice. And I'm like, that voice sounds really familiar to me. And I turn around, and she's working in one of the pin trading booths there. And I lost all emotions. I was just like, this is the biggest celebrity I've ever seen in my life. But it was really a touching moment. I went up to her and I was like, are you Julie from the planning videos? And she was like, no one ever recognizes me. This is so amazing. And so we had like a 10-minute conversation. We both cried a little bit together. She gave me one of her, she just like reached in her pocket and was like, may I give this to you? And it was a wishing star that some of the cast members have. It was such a beautiful moment. I really, really loved it.
Everybody who's been to Disney since childhood really knows Julie from those videos.
She was such a treat to meet. So if you ever meet her, go up and say hello. She's like meeting your fairy godmother.
Tell her Patrick sent you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Can I tell this on you?
You can.
He called me right after it, like super emotional, and it was the sweetest phone call. He was like over the moon excited about it and like kind of choking through telling me about it.
Yeah.
It was just adorable.
He called me first.
Sure.
What is the planning video? I don't know what this is.
It's basically a vacation planning video if you've never been to Disney World that will just tell you a brief synopsis of the parks and what you should enjoy in the parks. Just sort of a suggestions video. And then I also experienced, on my last day there with the ATLDs, Roger, Mark, and Kale, we went and saw Enchanted Tales with Belle.
Oh, yeah.
In the Magic Kingdom. Have you seen this show before?
I've never seen Enchanted Tales with Belle.
It is really outstanding.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, this is a secret treat for me. I didn't know. I was before like, it's a kid's show. I don't really need to see it. The effects are mind-blowing. You get greeted by the cabinet in the Beast's castle, and she's moving, and her face is talking, and she's explaining what you're going to do, and Lumiere narrates the whole thing, and it looks like there's a candlestick that's alive, talking to you, looking at you, surveying the room, almost pointing to people and winking, and then Belle comes out, and you do a little show with Belle. It's the cutest thing you'll ever see in your life.
Were you a part of the show? Were you chosen as a knight?
I was not. The four of us secretly just in the background were like, let's let the kids do this. We don't really want to be part of the show, but you can be if you want to volunteer to be the Beast or the Knight, and you act out a play with Belle. It's outstanding.
That's adorable.
Cute. That is adorable.
It's some of the best storytelling I've seen in Disney. It's really, really beautiful. Get out there and see it, you guys. Well, how did you all end your trips? We kind of all ended a little bit separately, although we saw you on your last night, Adam.
That's right, yeah.
How was your experience leaving us?
Turbulent. The flight home was very turbulent. Yeah. But I mean, leaving you guys felt amazing, as it usually does.
Felt comforting.
And so, I
Felt
was
right.
like, finally. No, it was always a little sad to leave Walt Disney World, and this was no exception. It's always great to have Matthew by my side when I get to leave now, and it's always a treat to come home to a new puppy. So that's always sweet too. But we have several trips on the horizon, so it wasn't a completely sad experience. So, but it was great to be there with you I have to admit, like, it was just one of the best trips. You know, I loved having that experience with you guys.
Agreed.
I totally agree.
Probably the best trip to Walt Disney World we've ever taken.
Yeah, sorry, Ben's parents.
Did you just call it Walter Disney World?
Yeah, Walt Disney World.
He's formal. He's so
I love
formal.
that.
How did you guys leave it?
I ended at the Magic Kingdom with the ATLDs. We spent all afternoon and evening there. Ben and Amanda, we all had lunch first at Raglan Road, which was lovely.
Delicious.
Disney
Super fun.
Springs. And then we went to, well, there's a funny little story we can maybe quickly tell. We went to the Magic Kingdom in a lift, and one Benjamin TG may or may not have left his souvenir cup in the lift.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
And so Amanda suddenly speaks Spanish because we called the lift, and he was very fluent in Spanish, but not quite as fluent in English. And Amanda fully talked to him in Spanish. It was magical.
The poor guy. He was so sweet. He was frantic because he could tell that we were frantic.
Yeah.
We were trying to get the mug back, and I so desperately, I can say this now, wanted that back for Ben. I wanted to just lose it because it felt like so connected to Ben's childhood. And
It was a mug from the cantina.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
And then he was so frantic that he drove somewhere and found his wife, who then got on the phone, and she was like, I'm so sorry, my English isn't great. And I was like, my Spanish isn't great, so we're going to do this together. And so we figured out how Ben could go back out of the lot and go back all through the whole process and meet the gentleman again. And he was so nice to come all the way back and bring the mug back. But then Patrick and I were on our own for a spell while we waited for Ben.
Had you not ridden Three Caballeros so many times, you would not have been able to communicate so well with
That
the
must
driver.
be it.
Yeah.
Right.
That must be it.
Yeah.
All those margaritas must have done it. Yep. So after that, like I said, I went and hung out with the ATLDs in the Magic Kingdom, and we ended our night watching Happily Ever After, which
perfect.
I love.
Yeah.
I get emotional every time I watch that.
For sure.
And then we went on Splash Mountain and called it a night.
What a way to end it.
Yeah, it was kind of a
Splash.
perfect ending to the night.
For sure.
What about you two? How did you end your evening?
We went for dinner to Via Napoli, and we had pizza and drank wine and reminisced together. And I got emotional at dinner. It was ridiculous. And then we walked around together. And you know what? Ben and I, it was fun to have kind of a date night.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've never been to Disney by ourselves. So it was really cool to just, wander around and do whatever the heck we felt like.
Aw.
What did we do after that? I can't remember. I think we were kind of in that space you were describing earlier. We were so tired and I think just overwhelmed that we called it a fairly early evening.
Sure.
And then we decided we were going to go back. Ben had never watched Coco. And because of the Three Caballeros and that sort of lobby space where they're incorporating pieces of Coco.
In the Mexico Pavilion.
At Epcot. And so I had been talking to him about Coco, and he said, finally, let's watch it. So when we got back, we fired up the old laptop and watched the beginning of Coco, and then both of us fell asleep.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So Ben finished it this week on his own.
That's the saddest movie ever.
I
That's
love
so
that
beautiful.
movie. It's so good.
I died.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did everyone else in the movie.
Yeah, right.
Well, I have to say, thank you guys for all clearing your schedules to go on this trip together. It was such a treat to see all of our dearest friends in our most favorite magical place in the world. So thank you for that. And thank you, Ben and Amanda, for taking time to recap with us.
Oh, thank you for having us and for the trip.
Yeah, it was our pleasure.
Total joy.
And thank you to all of the listeners and friends that we've made throughout our experience with Gays Do the D, who we got to see in the parks. That was really a highlight, I think, for me to see and talk to all of you. It was really a special treat.
Yes, thank you. And we can't wait to see you on subsequent trips.
Yes, please. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Amanda.
Hey, Patrick.
That was exhausting. Guess what time it is?
Time for Quick D.
You're correct. Ding, ding, ding.
She listens.
A winner is you. For those of you who don't know, Quick D is where Adam and I usually, but now we have Ben and Amanda, ask each other a question that we've not been privy to prior to recording, and we answer on the fly. This week's episode, we're going back to Quick D Thunderdome.
Thunderdome.
Two shall enter, only one can leave.
That's right.
What's our category for Thunderdome, Adam?
The category is Disney Ladies.
Ooh.
Oh.
Two ladies will enter the Thunderdome and only one can survive the experience. The other one will be killed immediately.
Wow. Wow.
Let's take Disney to a dark place.
Yeah.
All right. Patrick, kick us off. Which two ladies are you throwing into the Thunderdome?
I'm going with Tinkerbell and Belle.
Oh.
Two bells enter, only one leaves ringing.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, Ben, you're choosing between Belle and Tinkerbell. Which one's going to leave the death cage?
Belle leaves.
Wow.
She's not even magic.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think Tinkerbell would really mess her up. Tinkerbell has some jealousy issues, and she seems harder.
But wait, you're saying Belle's going to leave?
Wait,
Who's
how
dying,
does this
Ben?
work?
Who's dying in the cage, Ben? Who's surviving that
Belle
match?
dies.
Okay. Okay, there we go.
Oh, who leaves
Yeah.
alive? I see
Yes.
what you're saying.
Who can
Yes.
walk out?
Yeah.
Okay, walking out, flying out is Tinkerbell.
Okay, interesting.
Got it.
Interesting.
Got it.
Amanda?
Yeah, I'm with Ben. Tinkerbell lives because I'm not killing Tinkerbell. I'm not doing it.
So it's an emotional reason.
It's totally emotional. I mean, I see also Ben's argument. Tinkerbell does have some magic, some magical force behind her, but I'm still not doing it to her. I mean, hear me. I don't want to do this to Belle.
No,
Love
I'm getting that you
girl.
do want. I'm
Love
getting
that girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm not
No,
getting
but
that from
I'm
you.
not doing it to Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Okay.
Books can only get you so far, Belle.
That's right.
Shouldn't have read so much.
Yep.
Work out a little bit more.
How about that? Yeah.
What What about
That's
you?
a lesson to all you girls out there.
I'm going to choose Belle. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
I think she's going to open a book and be like, what does this say right here? And then Tinkerbell's going to fly into the book and she's just going to slam the book shut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And no one ever claps again.
That's right. I think Tinkerbell can be kind of a bee a lot of the time, you know, and I think Belle is...
Bumblebee, is that what you mean?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, she's a sassafras, and I think Belle is only pure-hearted and good, and so I'm choosing Belle because that's what our country needs right now.
I like it.
Is Belle to survive the cage match? Patrick, who would you choose?
I would go with Tinkerbell.
Okay.
Not because I want her to win, but I think because she has that magic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She's going to kill her with her beeness.
Okay. All right.
Queen Bee.
Round 2.
Yes.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
I'm choosing Aurora and Cinderella. 2 blondes enter the Thunderdome. Only one blonde's going to saunter out of there. Mm-hmm. Will it be one wearing glass slippers or will it be one with a color-changing dress? Please give me your answer now, Ben.
Cinderella.
Wow, why?
Lives.
Why?
Because I don't know who Aurora is.
Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, okay. Still going Cinderella.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how is she going to off Aurora?
She with one of those glass slippers.
I thought
mean,
that's where you go, yeah.
Yeah,
She cracks it at the
they're
bottle and just...
pointy.
That's exactly what I was going to say. A broken glass slipper to the
Just
face.
shivs her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right, Amanda?
Aurora's going to survive this one.
Wow.
Why is that?
I feel like that girl knows how to play the long game. She will wait you out.
Yes.
She also has like some experience with poison. So, and Cinderella is like such a tree hugger. I think she's going to figure out a way to like subtly, it's not going to be a fight, like a physical, like they're not going to, go fist to fist, but I think Aurora's going to make it happen.
Wow.
That's how I feel.
Patrick?
I think it's Cinderella.
Okay.
She's just going to open a window and all the birds are going to fly in. And eat Aurora. Just peck her eyeballs out. Very Grimm's fairy tale style.
Yep. I like that. I like that.
Until her shoes fill up with the blood running down her legs and she passes out and dies. What?
You went old school with that, and I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Cinderella for the win.
Yeah. Yep. I can totally see it.
Thanks.
She could even have her mice kind of crawl into the corpse. Into Aurora's. Yep. Just like as a final turn of the screw.
Yeah.
Take that, Aurora. All you had to do was sleep. I had to clean a house for 20 some years. Aurora.
It's true. Aurora didn't do anything. She can't do anything for herself. Don't you think?
She did need fairies. She needed that. Although
doesn't everyone? What?
Do you remember what her fairies were called?
Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather.
Correct.
Thank you so much. They couldn't do anything either. They were bumbling idiots.
You better back off.
Every
on
woman
Flora.
in that movie needed to take a page from Cinderella's book, learn how to cook, learn how... Am I going too far here?
I was going to say be self-sufficient, but...
Oh, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, it just came out wrong.
That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast, and submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you real soon.